Yo, what's good? It's your boy VA. That's AJ, and this is the HR Podcast.
Hey.
Yes, sir. And we are back after a sad finals.
Can't even hang though.
Lost in 5 to the Boston Celtics. And with that, we're going to slide right into the contender segment. You already know what's going to be the NBA Finals. We got to talk about that. Swiping left to right, AJ.
Contender segment, right all day. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes, sir. And so yeah, I'm for those who can't see me, I'm rocking the Luka 77 Dallas shirt. I'm still representing even on a rainy day. Ain't no stopping over here. It's been to say the least a humbling experience going to the finals. I think it's definitely a situation where Luka got exposed. I think Kyrie got exposed for still having Boston demons because it's very real at this point. I think that Dallas got exposed for their lack of, I'm not going to say depth because I think they're pretty deep, but I think their lack of experience when it comes to the finals. Boston showed they've been there before. They're not going to lose again, and hats off to them. They played a very well finals, even though the road there was pretty light, not gonna lie. Even the point totals, if we're not including game 5, Dallas was up the whole game, the whole series as far as scoring. Did very well for defense. Luka's defense was very suspect and he got exposed.
Okay.
Overall, the defense wasn't bad. It's just the offense never really clicked except for that one game, game 4, which they had to have it to avoid a sweep. Other than that, though, again, hats off to Boston. I really have nothing bad to say about them. I feel like they are a very deep team. I feel like Brad Stevens should be Executive of the Year for getting that team put together. I think co-executive of the year should probably be the Bucks GM for being dumb enough to let him go, Drew Holiday go to their rivals in the Eastern Conference.
For that.
I just like, well, I mean, I'll give him a pass. He probably didn't know he was gonna be picked up by Celtics, but at the end of the day, bro, like, come on, you think they're just gonna let you get better and they're not gonna go pick up an all-star defensive specialist? Like, bruh, keep Drew Holiday. But nonetheless, we'll say that for another day. Like I said, all-star cast at the GM as well as the coaching. I think Joe Mazzulla did a great job for someone in his second year as a head coach. Like, amazing. And I'm just,
he was sitting behind homeboy that
exactly.
got let go.
And so there was a lot of rumblings.
Interim.
Right. There was a lot of rumblings about should he really have gotten that job? He just stepped in. Did he really deserve it? He's shown it now. He did deserve that. Great adjustments. The way they hounded Luka and Kyrie and made them basically have to beat them one-on-one. It was a great job. And again, hats off. But at the end of the day, I think it would have been a lot different if there wasn't so many injuries in the East. I'm not even sure if they would have made it through the gauntlet. Especially Porzingis. I think they would have had to play him earlier and he would have got hurt and he would have never been a factor in the finals if they actually had to play some real competition. But nonetheless, that's what this game is about. It's about injuries, and every year we're seeing more and more of these, one-hitter quitters where it's like they win a title and they never win again because there's just so much talent, there's so much depth, and there's so many injuries that occur at any moment. So you never can really know who's going to win it. Celtics obviously I think they were favorites since the jump.
And there's so much shakeup in the offseason.
So much, bro. So much movement, more than ever. But I think they've been title favorites since they got Drew Holiday. So. I mean, I think that's why people say this was like a boring finals because everybody kind of predicted that this was going to happen from the moment that trade went down, especially if they got Porzingis. And oh my gosh, bro, them 2 games, he was just like an unstoppable force. It was like the New York Porzingis that came back, the unicorn, bro. He was unstoppable and he was stopping everything. It was just painful to watch. But again, I don't have anything bad to say about the team. I really like that team as a whole. I think it's very well put together. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum feed off each other well. I think their attitudes are perfect for that type of duo where you're not worried about who is the bigger star, even though obviously Jason Tatum is on the bill as the biggest star because he gets all the awards. But at the end of the day, when it comes to championships, you need that selflessness from your two stars in order to make it.
Yeah, they have that. I mean, without getting too far away from things, first off, I want to give kudos to both the teams because I believe that Dallas was the best team to go against them being Boston. But from the beginning of the season, we always talked about Boston being the main team to come out of the East.
Right.
Dallas wasn't supposed to come out of the West. We didn't have Dallas there. So kudos to them for that. However, you did say some things about pretty much the East just being a rollover and the top team's going to take it. And, I mean, it showed again. It's been shown pretty consistent the last few years.
Right.
And that's one of the knocks on LeBron James leaving and not really being successful in the West. But you want to give the shout-outs to Homeboy and the Bucks, right? But I want to give this championship loss to Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson drafted Lonzo Ball and had the chance to get
Philly.
Jason Tatum.
Philly had these same chances. They drafted one to both times.
My gosh. And now look at them. They're thriving. They're talking about there being a duo of all times, most duo with the most points.
That's crazy. Both them franchises could have had both of them.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both great players. I like watching both of them individually, and I watched them both in college before they came to the league, and I knew they were going to be great. A lot of talk was on who, like you said, who's the better player, who got the MVP, and does it really matter? And I think they do a good job of actually not caring about what's going to happen as long as the end goal was the championship ring and they got it. There was a couple of moments where I'm glad Jason Tatum, brought in his son because that's been important to him and his family and hold him up and stuff. But I'm glad they didn't overdo it.
Bro, where's his mama? Is his mama alive? Like, you never.
I can't remember, but I
her.
think that was his mom that night. That was there. But I don't want to talk wrong. I think that was his mom.
I just saw it. Ella May, his girlfriend's pregnant.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know about all that. But I do know that his family is important to him, so I know it was good for them to have him there and for it to be visible, but they didn't overkill it like I thought they would. Also, with Jaylen Brown taking the MVP speech the way he did, he even shouted out Jason Tatum, so that was that was pretty dope to see. When I talk about the Mavs on the losing end, I'm not going to lie, I thought the series was going to go to a Game 6 or a Game 7. But once they were down 3, right, and then they won the Game 4, I literally thought that Boston was throwing the game to them because they wanted the glory in Boston.
It seemed like it.
And I could be wrong, but I mean, hey, when you got the wins up on the column like that, I mean, you could take that chance.
Right. I would never do that.
Would you, as a professional player? Yeah, I would never do that, but the victory is a lot sweeter at home. The celebration's a lot
100%.
glamorous, and you get the real feels of the whole experience.
I mean, they dominated the whole final.
Was missing in the first couple of
games.
Luka came out strong the entire time, but the whole thing with him being the ball dominant, always in his hands, that's just Luka's game. I mean, that's Luka's game. Nobody said that when Harden was there. Nobody said that with Westbrook there. That's their style of game.
He's not the only person to do that.
It's not gonna change now because it's the playoffs. But I will say that his defense was exposed, and then, like you said, with him barking at the refs, that's gonna be exposed, and it's gonna be looked on now.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to get another big name player to come in and help, and see if that's even worth it. You know you're going in and you're not going to be the top dog because Luka's going to be there, and then it can be frustrating at times when the refs are against you because of little ticky-tack things. But shout out to both the teams. I feel like they did play hard. There were some close games where the Mavs could have walked away with a couple of wins, and then the outcome be way different.
Right.
It just didn't happen that way, and then they got too far behind, and the rest is history. But it was a good finals. I felt like they just didn't lay over and bend over and take the L. They competed for the most part. But there's going to be some players coming out of the Mavs like PJ and your two big men, Lively and Gafford, that it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their contracts, because I feel like they're important pieces to their winning pedigree, and not everyone can get paid what Luka and Kyrie and the big names getting. So that wraps up the NBA Finals, VA. But yeah, that's Magic's fault.
On to the next one. And so we got Caitlin Clark left off Team USA Pairs roster. Big deal. But is it really? Swiping left or right on this one, AJ?
We're swiping right, man, because I think it's interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, go ahead and pop this one off there.
All right. To me, when I first saw this report, I was like, why are people tripping about Caitlin Clark in her first season in the WNBA being left off an Olympic roster? I think the Olympic ladies teams have won the last 8 times, if I'm correct. And they've been successful every time. There hasn't been like the men's story of all the best players going to come and play for the team. And no, they're there, they're representing, they're winning, they're getting it done. The women have no problem when it comes to that. Now, Caitlin Clark is a very good player. We've seen it. She's had some struggles here and there in a couple of games, but overall, she's what we expected her to be.
Right, facts.
And she's meeting those expectations. So in my mind, there's this thing right now happening in the WNBA where newer fans that are being pulled to the game because of Caitlin Clark and because of other players, they are wanting nothing but this new face and these new faces being all over the women's league.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but there is something wrong with that when it comes to an Olympic caliber team. Yes, she can make the team, and she doesn't have to make the team in order for the WNBA players to rep the USA to win. They're going to win regardless.
Right.
But when you take a look at a roster and you see things like these new players coming in, it's a big deal, because when you have Caitlin Clark, for example, showing up and just running over as the face of the league currently, she hasn't. There's respect on her game, but there's no respect from the other athletes in this game because she has not been successful on this tier yet.
Facts.
So she started at 0 again. So she came out, she's doing great, but she still needs to be able to prove herself, and that hasn't been done yet. So I would say I would keep her off the Olympic team, right? That's just me. Based off the other players, because she can't play center, right? Like there's only a certain amount of spots for her position, or maybe a position like a 1 or a 3 that maybe she could squeak into, but there's other great players in there that those spots are filled.
Right.
And I don't think she's being snubbed. I think that people just need to relax and let time be time and let her prove herself, because she's gonna be on the rest of the teams for the rest of her life. She just needs to do her due diligence and keep proving who she is.
Facts. I think I think what's making it harder for people to accept is that there's not really a precedent for this. Like there are times when a great rookie comes in the league and they play on the roster their first year. I think the one I could think of most recently was Candace Parker, and I think she was Rookie of the Year and League MVP. Like, she was phenomenal her first year, and so I think early on people could see that she really could help this roster.
It could be done,
right, 100%. But I'm saying, I'm just talking about right now, just to Candace Parker. Like, they were looking at Candace and saying she has great size, blocking ability, passing, shooting. She can help us 100% right now. She can fill a void that we don't really have, especially at the time of when she came in. I feel like there wasn't a player like Candace, so she definitely could add that expertise.
That's fair.
But when I look at this roster right now in 2024, I'm looking down the list and I'm like, whose spot can Caitlin take?
Bruh.
These are all stars. All of them, I think, at least 6 years in the league, up to 15. Like, these are women who have put in their dues. They have put in work. They have made multiple All-Star trips. They have won not only in the WNBA, most of them have won championships in college, which Caitlin could never do. They are very accomplished. They have been doing this. They have not only they've been Team USA probably at least 2-3 times already. So there was very many that it was their first time being on the team. I think maybe like 1 or 2. Like, they had veterans who have been doing this, and I get the point of, okay, it's Team USA. Don't matter who they can put out there, they're going to win. Yes, I understand that, but there is such thing as team camaraderie. A lot of these players are on the same, like, literally, I think the Aces have 4 players. Phoenix has 2. Like, these are people that play with each other constantly, that know each other well, that can play with each other. So it makes it seamless. They don't have time to practice like that. And so I think
especially with their schedule.
Right, in other circumstances, if Caitlin had been here maybe a year, got to know more people, play more, it would be easier for them to make that decision. But like, even that Team USA, they came out and it was like, we don't make decisions based on popularity contests, or we make decisions based on winning. And that they put a roster that's gonna win. Like, gonna be great. Like again, I'm for Caitlin being on the team, but again, who am I taking off? I could maybe take off Chelsea Gray because she hasn't played all year, but she's like freaking Jason Kidd out there. When she be like, she's like a Kobe mixed with Jason, bro. Like, she is no joke. So no matter how many minutes she gets, she gonna be impactful. Caitlin, yeah, she could be impactful. She could get garbage time minutes. It would help. Probably, it would definitely help the ratings. You would sell merch like crazy. But like, again, that's not what they're here to do. They're here to win.
It's not a business standpoint.
It's not like they don't really need help like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think what you said too about the camaraderie about those teams, like, that's really important, especially at that level. Even when you look across to the men's, like, those dudes usually they've been playing with each other for a while, and they know at least, where the people are gonna be on the floor, what to expect from those individuals.
That's the advantage they be having over us now. That's why Team USA be struggling, because these teams have been playing with each other for 10 years. And we're just throwing all-stars together trying to make it work.
Yeah. So I think that's really important too. I feel like Caitlin's going to get her time and she's going to do well regardless. If she was on the team, they're going to win. If she's off the team, they're going to win.
Right.
I understand the business standpoint and the marketing, that how much it would do for the game. But at the same time, it's already getting done with Caitlin being who she is, and it's already bringing enough attention to the game as it is. So whether it's on the USA scale or just WNBA, it doesn't really matter. Right.
They're getting, the WNBA is getting the exposure they need, and they're going to get more and more every year. So I'm with you on this. It's not really that important. Like, they're making some big deal out of it. On to the next one. Dan Hurley, coach of UConn, back-to-back champions, is going to stay at UConn after being offered a $6 year. How much was it? I think it was about $70 million. $70 million, 6 years. A lot of money. Not really that much when it comes to the grand scheme of NBA coaching, though. I think that would have made him like the 5th highest. But definitely not no chump change. We swiping left or right on this, AJ?
I think we're swiping left on this one. I think he did the right thing. He took a $20 million cut for the same amount of years to stay at UConn, but he's already built that program to be what it is. And I mean, if you think about it, 6 years in this specific field with college, and not the prima donna NBA players that you have to be there and bottle, cuddle, and all that. He can go back. He can get more experience, be more successful, and also be maybe in the running for one of those coaches that's like the Coach K's and the Caliparis and that
dynasty
type of caliber. And if he wants to go from there and then go back to the NBA or go to the NBA, then he has that chance. But I think what he did was smart. We swiping left.
Yeah, no, facts. I'm with you on that one. I think it definitely was a chess move, and I think it's gonna work in his favor. The Lakers' job right now ain't that desirable, especially with them firing every year to 2 years. Why not stay in college, build something? The NBA ain't going nowhere. He would definitely get offers again, especially if he keeps winning, and it would be more money than this time. And it'll probably be a better spot for him, somewhere he can go and actually build something, because you're not building nothing new in the Laker culture. Like, it's already set in stone. You're just trying to add to it. But you can build something on some of these other teams in the NBA for sure. They don't have no kind of culture. So I'm with that one. On to the next one. Kyrie Irving gets his dad a signature shoe with his company, Chinese-based company. I can't think of the name. I always say something like
Anta.
Anta. I'm thinking Antifa when I don't know why. Anta. Which this is unheard of. I haven't heard of anybody getting their dad a signature shoe under their basketball.
A little wild.
Like, it's definitely different. We swiping left or right on this one.
Kyrie, he's being more mature. I understand he holds his dad in super high favor. It's like his number one fan for life. And rightfully so. Right. I don't understand why this is a specific way to reward him for that.
This is different.
But it's definitely interesting. Kyrie has his own following. He'll forever have his following because he's a great player. Just a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. But we swiping left.
Yeah, I think Kyrie has some dope shoes with them, especially like the little Navajo looking ones. This one, that's Comanche. Right, okay. I'm
playing.
That's one of them.
Ain't nobody know.
Right, don't nobody know. Apache shoe, who knows? But I think his following is so huge, bro. He's got this cult following. I feel like no matter what he puts out, it's gonna sell. And as long as it looks kind of dope, which he used to sell with Nike, he's selling out with Anta, and I think he's gonna find a way to tie his dad old teams. When he played in high school, he was a big star. When he played overseas, he was really good. When he played in college, he was really good. So I think they're gonna find a way to incorporate his past teams and maybe make like a dope dad shoe that, dads can hoop in. Like, hey, if it's high top, I might get me a pair. I need the ankle support. That's what we old man need.
Father's Day is only one day out of the year, bro.
I know, bro. I need to bring them high top Kobe's back, bro.
Yeah, man. Bruh. They're tripping with all those releases, bro. They need to do the whole entire thing.
I be looking at these dudes' ankles. I'm just like, bro, how y'all doing it? These are some low tops. Like, ankle just rolling.
I like them, but
they look dope. No, I love them, but like, as far as hooping in them, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
You gotta have some ankle supports. They gotta be wrapped and taped.
Be wrapped up. Yeah. Like, no way. On to the next one. We got the Oklahoma Sooners represent with my PJ Washington stance.
Boomer Sooner.
And they have won their 4th straight Women College World Series. Round of applause for them. That's huge. It's really, really, really big. I can't think of any other dynasty in the last 20 years that has won 4 straight. Probably longer than that. I'm not sure if anybody has, but even to get 3 in a row would be crazy. 4 is insane. We're swiping left or right on this one, AJ.
It's a feat. It's amazing accomplishment. I don't want to knock on it being softball,
right?
Because it is a big deal, especially in college. It's an amazing accomplishment, but again, we're gonna have to swipe left only because it's kind of already everybody knows. Like, if you go there and you play softball, like, that's great. I think what makes it swipe left on my end is that after the softball ends, like, what happens to them?
Right.
Yes, there might be professional leagues, but they're at that point, like, is it really professional, quote unquote, or is it just kind of we're doing this because we're good at it and that's what we are going to do, but we still have a side job. That's kind of what makes me want to swipe left on it. I know it sounds bad, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done and that is over for them, ain't nothing going back to that unless you become a coach and you pay it forward, or you're starting some kind of girls league or something like that for them to look up to, learn and all that. But at the end of the day, it's an amazing task and an accomplishment, but in the long term it's kind of like, well, congratulations, but now what?
Yeah, I think I kind of compare it to women's basketball before they had the WNBA. Like you had Cheryl Swoops winning, for Texas Tech, putting the whole team on her back and freaking going straight up full-blown Kobe and winning that, and then not having nothing to do after that except go overseas. I feel like that's where women's college softball is currently at. I feel like there is a market though, and as it grows, it will be a chance for it to be a pro team. It is just kind of hard to see it happening anytime soon though.
I hate to say it too, but like if you look at the women's soccer league, and it was booming and booming and booming, and it kind of set back a little bit, but now WNBA is just booming and booming and booming. Mm-hmm. Softball, I can definitely see it being the next thing to boom.
Yeah, for sure. There is a market for it. I mean, there are some really good girls out there. Like I enjoy watching them, probably sometimes more than the men's, to be honest.
When it comes to the college level, yes.
Yeah, like it's really competitive. It's really competitive. Baseball. The pitching, I love it. It's the competitive nature that these women show when they be out there. They get fired up. I really enjoy it. Like I have nothing bad to say about it. On to the next one. We got the last topic of the segment for Contender. I think we saved the best for last in this case. We got the top WNBA teams through the first 15 to 16 games, depending on when you played. Shout out to Cameron Brink. She had a scary injury tonight. Prayers up for her. It was a non-contact injury. Looked pretty bad. Hopefully she's going to be okay. Yeah, it just happened earlier tonight. So hopefully she'll be all right. But we're going to talk about the top 5 in the league so far. It's been a great new league. It's probably been the biggest one I've seen ever, honestly, as far as the hype. We swiping left or right on this, AJ?
We swiping right. There's a lot going on in that world of WNBA, and it's exciting to see.
Yes.
I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have definitely been keeping up with it more than I ever had, so that has a lot to say with the success that they're having as a league. Right. Go ahead and take it off.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's I've been following it for a while now, especially since I moved back to Dallas in 2011. Watching the Dallas Wings grow as an organization, and finally have a playoff run last year and win a playoff game for the first time I think in a long time, 10 years or so. And so that's what kind of got me back into it. And watching these women flourish has been amazing. This year in particular, I think what's so great about WNBA is that the longevity of their stars. Like there's the Connecticut Suns. They're one of the top 5 teams. I'll go ahead and list my top 5 first. We got no particular order: Seattle Storm, New York Liberty, Las Vegas Aces, Connecticut Sun, and Minnesota Lynx. And Connecticut Sun, and I kind of put Minnesota in this box a little bit too, but Connecticut for sure. One of them teams been around, got one title, has had the same core players for a long time. 2 women who actually married, and they are a situation where the team has gone through ups and downs, but they stay tight. And again, this is something that I see more in WNBA. It's like you see these women grow together and grow. They be together 10 years, 10, like the same teammates. Like, of course you have free agency, stars move, but you see these teams form, stay together, and keep going and going. They remind me of the old San Antonio teams, like where you see them together for a whole decade, and they just go through these battles and they just get better and better. The physicality, honestly, is higher in the WNBA than is the NBA. Like them women are very physical, and they can play for a long. Look at Diana Taurasi, been playing forever until your 40s. Like that's something that I think is unique to this game, and I think that's why it's so popular, because your stars play for so much longer in this league and they stay relevant and good for a long time. Look at Sue Bird before she retired, was still very relevant for the Seattle Storm. The league in general is at a golden era currently, where you're just seeing these stars light up the places. Like the New York Liberty, bro, with their team they have with Ionescu and freaking Stewie, bro, like just amazing to watch them. Like I could watch them any day of the week. Seattle Storm, they got Jewel Lloyd, who can drop 30 any moment. Like you got these stars. Las Vegas Aces, Asia Wilson. You got what's the little short girl that be shooting? Just got a divorce. Kelsey Plum. You got Chelsea Gray. You got all these stars, and then Minnesota Lynx, again, another team where they've been together for a long time. Their main star, Nessa, her name's slipped my mind, but
Baba Quay or whatever it is.
No, you thinking of Enrique, I think, for the Wings, but I'm talking about for Minnesota. They got, I think her name is Nafessa. She played for UConn. She's having a breakout year again after having a baby, coming back from all kind of injuries. Like these teams just can continue to grow and reinvent themselves, and I'm just so excited to see where they go to the future.
So, for me, I'm going to list a couple of team names, and then I'm going to go something back to what you said, which I think is really important and really key to what their success is right now. And I didn't even think about it until you said it. But the New York Liberty, they're up there. The Connecticut Sun, they're up there. I mean, they're the number one team in the league when it comes to win-losses. I've actually been watching them.
They went like 9 games straight, bro. I think 8 or 9 without a loss. Like, and it was huge.
They're becoming like their second main player. I forgot what her name is. Tall, skinny, black girl.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That's the one who's
super
married.
Good, bro. She's like one of the top scorers ever in the league.
And she been doing this.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
She didn't even really be getting that recognition like she should, but.
Alyssa Thomas is the other one. It's Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, she's like a big throwing it and throwing you around type.
She get to the basket whenever.
A Bowser show.
You bounce off of her, bro. She's so strong.
Yeah, she's nice. Going back on what you said though, and I think it's really important. The WNBA success to me, based off your comment, has a lot to do with their team sticking together and then developing new players.
Yes. Yeah.
As opposed to the NBA, they're getting rid of people, they're chasing rings. There's just development to watch. And so it's better to see with the WNBA when you talk about team, because very few times are stars moving. Like Candace Parker, she moved years after.
Exactly.
And it was like...
to her hometown, Chicago.
Yeah, and it was like for a reason. You know, it wasn't like, let me chase rings.
Right.
Or
she
let
actually
me do this.
went to a place where there was no guarantee you were getting the ring. And not that time.
Yeah.
Not for Chicago Sky.
And I think that's important, because that's what's missing in the NBA today. And I feel like that has a lot to do with like the camaraderie of the team's growing. So if you look at, I hate to throw the men's on with the female segment, but just for one team example, the OKC Thunder, like they've had a few years now where they just had their teams, their draft players develop, and they did amazing this year.
They did.
So then moving forward, they're set still if they want to be.
Yeah.
But I think that's what the cause of the success for the WNBA is. Again, there's a lot of players that are getting more notoriety right now because of who they are, and rightfully so. But it also brings up those other players, right? If they're playing defense against the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses, and now they're being looked at because they did good, or they just put up a triple-double or double-double on them, and it's like now they're getting the praise and the lights shine down on them. So it's interesting to see. The WNBA is doing the right thing, that's for sure. It's trending up, and I see it trending up for a while.
Yeah, same. All right, AJ, that is the end of the segment.
Ding, 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 ding.
You already know. Let's go ahead and move on to that functioning org, dog.
Yes, sir. So, BA, without further ado, functioning org. First thing that comes to mind, or the first phrase that comes to mind when you hear Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
First thing comes to mind would be
say it.
I don't know who is who, but first thing come to mind is Tom and Jerry. I don't know which one is Jerry, which one the mouse, even though I think you can guess. I'm not gonna say it, but I think you can guess who's the mouse and who's the cat. But it's like just great entertainment every time they play. It's packed out house. I don't even care that they don't even guard each other. It's just the electricity they bring to the moment. Them two together, I feel like people are comparing them to like Larry Bird and Magic when they came in the league. Played in college. Played actually national championship against each other. And Magic, the black one, happened to win in college. And then they get to the league, and I'm pretty sure Bird won first. I know he won the Rookie of the Year is what he won. And then Magic won the Finals MVP that year. So same thing going here, kind of, even though they play different positions. It's this not necessarily good versus evil thing, but I think it's played out a little bit more with these two of the good versus evil, mainly because Angel Reese just don't got that charisma that Magic does. Like Magic could cross all barriers, white or black. Angel is definitely playing into that hood rat role, for lack of a better word. I mean, like she just like would talk trash to anybody. Like it's hilarious to me, but
until she gets hood ratted, right?
And then what makes it hard to take her serious because she don't know what she want to be. One minute she's like, one minute she's like, I'm the villain. I know I'm a villain. I'm gonna play that role. I'm good at it. The next minute she's like, why are they victimizing me? The refs are only giving me, only giving her calls and not me. Like it's like, are you the victim or are you the villain? Which one are you? Like,
yeah.
Like you can't have it both ways.
Make up your mind.
Right. But like I said, Tom and Jerry, bro, because like it's just pure entertainment right now.
That's funny. For me, it's more of like a Batman and Joker, or like a Batman and Superman. I'll say Batman and Superman because they are both superheroes to whoever they need to be superheroes to.
Right.
But when they fought, Batman and Superman fought and won, or technically they didn't win, but anyway, long story short, they're both superheroes in their time, and they both bring different things to the table, and they're not sure as being rookies of how they're going to be perceived. I feel like they're both saying the right things to say the right things, but they actually feel something different.
Right, especially with Caitlin,
of course,
I feel like.
I don't know them, right? But I don't think you have to have conversations with people to understand, like, man, this is starting to get annoying. Like, why are you asking me this after I just played a game? Like, obviously, how would you feel? But they're both playing it very smart, mostly Caitlin. But Angel Reese is playing it well too with her words. I think she got caught up with, I think it was Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah.
And she got like a flagrant foul on her, and she's like, "Well, I needed to be introduced to that into the league." And it was just kind of like, well, you saying the right things, So it's like,
yeah,
it's hard to tell, but it's entertaining, like you said, because it's just a show, and it's the show outside of basketball, but we're seeing it on the basketball court. And then when it plays out into the media, they stand their ground. They're both liked or not liked.
Right.
Each one of them, you either love them or hate them. But I think it's good for basketball, and it's good that they're in the same rookie year. And it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward and progress and mature through the WNBA, because I feel like a lot of that has to do with them getting money now. So let's see if they can continue to do that.
Facts.
But yeah, Batman and Superman for me. Moving on to the next spot and function, or VA. First thing that comes to mind when you hear Jerry West.
Man, I can't think of no other word than legend. Like he literally is a legend. This man not only proved himself to be a legend on the basketball court, he also proved to be a legend in the executive world. He not only transformed the Lakers backcourt when he got Shaq and Kobe together, he also transformed the Clippers when he put Blake Griffin and all them together. Lob City, something they never had. Clippers have never been more relevant than they were at that time. Even compared to now, I think they were more relevant then. They were a really good, entertaining team, and he was responsible for that. And I think from there he went over to Memphis?
Maybe for a year or two.
Yeah, it wasn't long, but
the Warriors.
Right, the Warriors. That's where he went. Yes, he was with the Warriors. So and I think he went Warriors first and then Clippers. Or maybe Clippers.
Clippers first.
Okay, Clippers first. Okay. But I know he was working on somebody now before he died. I feel like he was consulting somebody. Either way, that man leaves a trail of success wherever he goes. And I think the fact that he became so big in basketball after his playing career ended, to me, shows why he should have been the logo and why he was a great choice for it. In hindsight, clearly they didn't know he was going to be that big executive when they made him the logo. And I think a lot of people had a problem with it not being Jordan. But seeing how his legacy played out, I am 100% okay with him staying the logo forever. He did things as a GM that Jordan could only dream about doing. On top of the fact that he played his ass off in the league. He's the only finals MVP to get it and not win the game. Like, the man went to, 10 finals? Like, only won like one of them, granted, because he was going up against a stacked Boston team that had all-stars out the wazoo. Like, Bill Russell. All you need to know, Bill Russell. So it's understandable. But like I said, bro, on and off the court, a legend.
Yeah, you said it. The first thing that comes to mind for me is the logo. So when Kobe Bryant passed, they were talking about changing the logo to Kobe Bryant, and I thought that was dumb. I feel like once you make a decision and that decision is made, it needs to be made because you have to remember the reasons why you made that decision.
Right.
And so it discredits a person when you try and take that away, because he was such a great player in that time. Like you said, he was the only MVP to win MVP on the losing team.
Right.
That's like, what? That would never happen.
That would never happen. Nowadays, it's not going to ever happen again.
But that's how good of a player he was. And on top of that, him putting Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal together, I watched several documentaries and Shaquille O'Neal will tell you to this day that he walked up to him and said, you know what? I'm going to draft this kid and you guys are going to become stars. Yeah. And you guys are going to win several championships. And that's exactly what happened. He went elsewhere and he brought those franchises up from nothing to relevant. And he always did it with a smile. I never saw anger on his face on the camera.
No.
Where he was talking to whoever he was talking to on the camera, you never saw anything negative. He always paid it forward to the younger generation to make sure that the NBA was left off in a better place. And so for those people, that doesn't happen a lot. Like when you look for Jordan, right, and you look to Jordan, like, yeah, he does things in the league, but most of it's like self-rewarding type of things, like his own brand or whatever. But when you look at Jerry West, it's all just building the game and making everybody, successful as possible. So he's gonna be missed. It is sad. When I saw it, I was like, dang, like there's a couple of big names that had just passed, and he's one that we gotta talk about.
Yeah. Facts.
The last one, VA, moving along on function in order. The first thing that comes to mind when you hear Tank, Gervonta Davis.
Man. First thing that come to mind, I'm not gonna lie, is like this generation's Mayweather. I feel like not only the size comparison is legit to Mayweather, cause they both little, bro. They both little, but they both got speed. Great. I think Gervonta definitely has more power though. I mean, what, 30-0, 28 knockouts, bro? You gotta have power. Mayweather was more defensive specialist, and he just would he would just jab you to death. You just couldn't hit him back, and so a lot of his went to decision.
Score, man, he just score.
Right. He was just score, and no problem with that. I think that's an amazing way to fight. That's how you keep your health, in your brain. But for Tank, he a little more hood with it. He a little more. That's why he's like this generation, bro. He's this generation's Mayweather. Like he got the trash talk. He got he can back it up. Like people don't want to see him, bro. People do not want to see him. Not in that weight class. They don't. Like he knocked out Ryan Garcia. Like dude has got some go. And
Ryan, I don't really know for sure, but Ryan had to drop, right, to get into the weight class.
And that's what people were saying. They kind of want Tank now to go up, try and go up to Ryan Garcia instead of making him drop. I think that would be more interesting if he did that too. But still, bro, like pound for pound, one of the best out right now. Just really.
I mean, pound for pound, the dude's like a $135. Bro. Soaking wet.
That's what I'm saying. Pound for pound, best fighter in the world.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like for his class, he's the best. Like I can't say he's the best overall, especially not with these great fighters out here. Like the guy who just beat Earl Spence. What's his name? Bud Crawford. When you got that's who I'm considering the best right now. But for Tank, bro, this generation's Mayweather.
That's fair. I mean, everything that you said is truthful. For me, there's like a fakeness about him that. Anyway, let me give you my word. I'm gonna say wankster. You're wankster, bro. Wankster. But
you say you a wankster.
Getting into that, when I first saw him. When I first saw him box, man, he was not nearly as tatted up as he is now.
Oh, no.
And I know he probably had a little bit of hood in him, but I think he overdoes it now because he is who he is. Now, he's at the lower level boxing, not the lower level, I shouldn't say that. He's at the lower weight
Lightweight
class of the boxing level. And so for me, it's kind of like, man, well, you just, and excuse me for downplaying it, but it's just a bunch of midgets out there trying to knock each other out. Now, don't get me wrong, he's very good. I've seen him. He's got power. He's quick. He does have those similarities to Floyd, but when you look at him, I can't say that I think that he's fake when he comes off, especially when he talks. I know he's not the smartest individual just by listening to the man, but at the end of the day, regardless of what he's got, he's like my dad would say, he's a couple fries short of a Happy Meal. Right. But anyways, he's very good at what he does. I think that he fakes his hard gangster persona that he has. And maybe he's adapted to that and he's like completely that now. I don't know. But when he first came into the league, right, if you look at NBA players and NFL players that come in, they're not tatted, and all of a sudden they got tats everywhere. Cool, that's a lifestyle. You're the man with it. Whatever, do what you want to do, as long as you can perform in your sport. And he's performing in his sport, so I'm not trying to knock him at all. But I also am keeping it real, like he's the lower level weight class. I haven't heard of any big name people that are within that weight class that could even compete with him. So it's good for him, but it's like, well, what's your competition?
Right.
And then when you have people dropping down to your weight class, that's not the same as going up.
No.
And I don't really like Canelo, but Canelo goes up into the weight class. He doesn't go down. And that's respectable, because that's say, you know what, well, I'm going to go up to what you're doing and I'm going to take it away from you. Right. He has yet to do that. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to diminish his accomplishments, because it's what it sounds like, but it's just a lot of things that I think that he puts on, and it's fake, and I kind of feel like it's changing the world of boxing, and I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to do that in order to be successful, and I think that that's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you're looking at, look at Jake Paul. I mean, this is what boxing is now, bro. It's about personality.
That's not.
It's personality.
I'm not considering Jake Paul a boxer.
How can you not?
He is an opportunist, right? That is seeing people that have boxed or have fought in life, and he will box them, but it's all his take. Like, you can't put a boxer in his weight class that probably won't give him defeat.
No, yeah, I feel you on that.
So, but that's what I mean by that.
But I still kind of compare that again to Mayweather. Mayweather, I'm not gonna say all his fights were like that, but towards the end, like probably the later half of his 40-0, whatever, he was picking all them fights. And he wasn't picking people that he knew could beat him. So
that's true. But I also think Tank is doing the same thing. Like, no one really wants to fight him because they know that they're probably going to lose, but he doesn't have a legitimate competitor because they're all $135 midgets running around 5'3" in there, like.
I mean, that's what the sport is now, though. It's really, like, the little fighters have now brought it up. I mean, look how big Pacquiao was, a little fighter.
They're fun to watch, don't get me wrong.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. Well, let's move it on to close this one up.
Yes, sir. On to the last segment of the day. Got the Got Beef segment. And for today's segment, we got some potential beef starters. We got Eminem and Megan and Stallion. Hot girl summer herself.
And it's been hot, bro.
Real hot girl-ish. That's what she be saying. You already know. So Eminem dropped a bar on that head. I'm gonna read it up to you. He dropped a new single called Houdini, and it's very reminiscent of his old track that he dropped. It was like, guess who's back? Back again. It's almost the exact type of
Shady's
bars, even the tempo, the beat almost sound the same. So I'm pretty sure that was calculated. Now, what he said here was a little clever, and it wasn't, necessarily to old girl's liking. And let me go ahead and read it. So what it's saying is, let me pull it up.
I mean, you don't even gotta pull it up for me to tell you Megan Thee Stallion didn't want none.
Oh, you already know that. I actually just had it right here. It's literally a short little line. So, here it is. Okay, so the line goes, if I was to ask for Megan Thee Stallion, hold on, let me start that over. I'm trying to think of the beat. All right. So if I was to ask for Megan Thee Stallion if she would collab with me, who wrote this? He couldn't have said it like that. Okay, maybe he did. Maybe he was trying to fit in the beat. So if I was to ask for Megan Thee Stallion if she would collab with me, would I really have a shot at her feet? As as most people know, Megan Thee Stallion was notoriously shot at by Tory Lanez, allegedly. I guess now we don't gotta say allegedly because he had been convicted of it. He's in jail. Shot at her feet, and so that's the play on words. Shot at her feet, meaning shot at a feature with her. It kind of had Twitter up in arms. Megan has yet to respond. I think she know better, like you said. Don't nobody want him to go full
Eminem.
Well, I was gonna say full Benzino mode where he's
that too.
Because the dude just
be a rabbit.
Just took over Benzino's whole life. He came and walk around without people talking about Eminem now. Like, I feel bad for Benzino, but that's what Megan don't want. She know better. So I think she know better. Just be quiet. It was a short little jab. It wasn't even really a jab. It was just a clever line, to be honest.
Yeah.
But people want to make something out of everything, calling it a beef now. What you feeling like on this, AJ?
I feel like a lot of people think that they're being talked about, but they really aren't being talked about.
Right.
And I feel like if you think you're being talked about, like most of the time, nobody really even cares what you're doing, I can clearly see how that was a joke, right, in his song, but nothing for me to get riled up about.
Right.
Like, if I was Megan Thee Stallion, I'm also smart enough to know that if I was Megan Thee Stallion, I'm not saying anything against Eminem.
Right.
I mean, because if he wanted to, he probably wouldn't even have to put out a diss album or a diss track.
He could just obliterate her.
Probably dismantle you without even doing a song. Like he can do an interview and then it'll be a rap. Plus, his career has spoke for itself,
right? And
she's barely kind of coming to existence in the female rap world, anyway. I really don't listen to her. I don't listen to Eminem as much as I probably should. But at the end of the day, I feel like you're right. People are going to make things about them or not about them just to be part of something, and so they can post something about and get all their feelings wrapped up. At the end of the day, she's tripping if she do say something back, and she can call her career a rap. I
don't think it's that serious. Even if she says something, I don't think nobody gonna wrap her up.
I'm just going based off recent beefs that we've been talking about, like Drake and Kendrick and 50.
But this is what Eminem does, though. Like, he's known to go at other people. He went at Michael Jackson. He's went at Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
But nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe, exactly.
If Megan was to say something about him, she's no longer safe, so she's not gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I mean, she would look dumb anyway. They'd be like, "Get out your feelings, girl. He do this to everybody." Like, that wasn't nothing. That was light.
That's funny.
And honestly, nobody even likes the song. Like, it's not really a good song. So it's like, I think that got more attention than the Megan line. was like, yo, this song really ain't it.
You'd be surprised, man. I'm not gonna say who, but I've come across some hardcore Eminem fans lately, and
yeah,
they vibing to it.
Yeah, true.
But this is a good way to close it out. It's all fun and games until you get called in HR. And Megan is dying back. Hope she don't get called in HR.
Yeah, you don't want the problems. You don't want it. You don't want the problems, big fella. As always, I appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Until
sir.
next time, deuces.
Deuce.